Hello everybody. This is me, Matt Kearns, doing a rambling review. I have not done one of these really since I started doing reviews on my channel. If you follow this channel and if you follow my work over on Tape 3, you know that I like to do more scripted content. But in this case, I decided to try this out. Maybe it gets a lot of, I don't know, a lot of traction from you guys. If you like it, maybe I'll do more rambling stuff. This is the first time I'm recording a video like this in my new setup, so if it's too echoey or not very good, just let me know, but I apologize. So if you clicked on the video, you know that I'm reviewing Clerks 3, because I just saw it last night, and I have a lot of thoughts. I'm just going to say outright, I'm probably going to talk about spoilers, so if you haven't seen Clerks 3, if you're a Kevin Smith fan, if you love all his movies, or if you love the Clerks movies, you've probably already seen it within the past 2 days of Fathom releases, or you're going to see it, you know, either with the Fathom release or with his road trip sort of stuff. So don't watch it. Don't watch this video. Go watch the movie you were already planning to. But if you've seen the movie, or if you don't care, welcome. I want to sort of, and again, this comes to the rambling nature of this review. I want to sort of talk about my relationship with Kevin Smith movies. So when I was in high school, I discovered Clerks on Netflix. And being someone who, like, so I'm born in 97, but a lot of the stuff I love is, like, predates me. So I love a lot of stuff from, like, the late 70s, 80s, early 90s. And so growing up, you know, I have, like, older cousins and stuff like that, and they would recommend stuff to me. But Kevin Smith wasn't, like, one of those things. I really discovered his movies on my own. I found Clerks on Netflix, and I thought it was, like, one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. I love the fact that here was a movie about two guys sitting around just talking about stuff like I talked about, stuff like that whole conversation about, you know, the Death Star and the contractors and all that. I mean, you know, the stupid conversations about Star Wars and comic books and all that. I still have those conversations, so it was cool to see. And then I remember I got the DVD. I listened to the commentary track, and Kevin Smith. It was filmed, or not filmed. It was recorded before they started making Mallrats, and he was talking about this movie he was doing called Mallrats, which he described as essentially Clerks in color. And I was like, oh, what? And I seeked that movie out, and I loved that more because I found it funnier because it still had the same sort of, like, pop culture driven conversations, but with the added element of more characters, you know, slapstick stuff like that, that I always have found funnier, and that's always been my favorite sort of comedy of Kevin Smith. And then I just sort of found all his movies after that. I found Chasing Amy, which is my favorite Kevin Smith movie because it's funny. It has a lot of funny moments, but I think the dramatic stuff that Kevin has in that movie, you know, just the way that movie talks about relationships, and not just romantic, but, like, friendship, and it's a very true movie about, like, you see, like, Holden and Banky, and they're this really close, like, friendship, and then what happens in that movie for very real and okay reasons. I've always just loved that movie. Dogma, I think, is an incredible film that speaks about religion in such a interesting way, and I honestly think that movie, and I'm not Catholic whatsoever, but I think that movie influenced sort of my notion, like that whole thing that Rufus says to Bethany when they're on the they're on the I'm sorry, when they're on the train, and he's talking about the difference between religion as a belief and an idea, and how, like, a belief, like, people don't break beliefs, and people will die for a belief, and an idea you can change, you can adjust, and I feel like that whole statement really influenced me, and that's sort of like, yeah, that is true, and that is smart, to sort of talk about this stuff like that. Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back is funny. It was supposed to be, and I think now, especially with Clerks 3, it's it was supposed to be the end of the Yosuke universe, so that's why sort of taking the two characters who were sort of secondary characters in all the other movies, making them main characters, going on a silly road trip, with a bunch of cameos from previous characters and cast members, makes sense. And then, of course, Kevin decided that isn't how he wanted to end the Yosuke universe. He comes back, he does Clerks 2, which is really great, and I thought was a great wrap up for the Yosuke universe for the time. Yeah, and Kevin has just, like, since those movies, and I'll talk about the later ones before I get to Clerks 3, but, like, all those, like, Evening with Kevin Smith stuff, like, I found that stuff, and just, like, he became a guy that I just loved listening to. Like, he's someone who what I like about Kevin Smith is you can tell he's just, like, a fan. Like, his reference to movies and comic books and all this stuff, that this guy is, like, a true fan, and I've had these conversations, and also just has, like, I'm not a filmmaker whatsoever. I had dreams of it at one time, and when I was in high school, I made my only movie ever, and it was hugely influenced by Kevin Smith, so much so that the main character in my movie was named Holden because of Chasing Amy. And that movie was, like, it was set in a high school, and it took place over the course of one day. Like, that whole sort of Kevin Smith thing, he just hugely influenced me back then, and now as I do all this stuff on YouTube, like, I still listen to, Smodcast and all of Kevin's podcasting work, and now that's influencing me in my, mid-20s. I'm 25, and it's, like, I've grown from wanting to be a filmmaker to more me a film analyst, and so this dude's just, like, ever since I first came across that movie, he's just been in my life in a huge way. Then obviously he had his heart attack, and, like, thinking about, and they talk about it in Clerks 3, he had a widowmaker, like, he's in the 20%. It's, like, crazy for me to think, like, whoa. And obviously everybody passes away eventually, but, like, kind of like when, like, Robin Williams passed away, and I just, like, I still think, like, there's, like, a whole generation of kids who will never get new material from Robin Williams. To think that, like, we would never get new podcasts, new movies from Kevin Smith. I'm sorry about that. My computer is being annoying. Like, never getting new stuff from him would be insane. And so obviously he made Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, which I saw at the Fathom release, and then I got to see the Road show, which was awesome, and I was, like, right in the front row, and I have pictures of Kevin. Unfortunately, and I knew there was this risk because he did, like, a Q&A afterwards. I forget how long the Q&A went for, but he answered only, like, 3 or 4 questions, which it's Kevin. So, like, I knew when I stood up there to ask a question that I was, like, probably, because I was a couple people deep, I was like, I'm definitely not going to get to ask this question. But it was still cool to just, like, and I've been lucky enough, I spoke to him on Skype once. That video is a little muddled now because of another person who's in it, but still the fact that I got to, like, talk to Kevin Smith about, like, how much I love the movies, and he questioned, like, my age and, like, the fact that I love Mallrats so much. It's really cool. So, like, Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, I liked a lot. I haven't watched it in a hot minute, but I really enjoyed the movie. I really enjoyed the fact that for the character of Jay to sort of grow that character up in a way, and his relationship with his daughter and all that stuff, I thought was really beautiful. And then that seemed like it was it. And then now here we are with Clerks 3, which is the reason why you clicked on this video, not 10 minutes of me just waxing intellectual about Kevin Smith. So I saw Clerks 3 last night, and I got emotional in like the first 5 minutes. I don't know why. I was talking to my friend Pat about this. I have no clue why. It was... I think it was a mix of the music, being back in that world in a new way, because the movie opens with them opening up Quick Stop, and then they close it to play hockey on the roof, and like all the comic book men, like Walt Flanagan and Brian Johnson, Ming Chen, and I assume Mike Zapsik was there too. And I love comic book men, like that show. Me and my brother still love that show, so like I feel like that was it, because that show obviously has been canceled. So I think it was just like seeing like them, Dante and Randall, Jane Silent Bob, guys from the other movies, like Rick, I believe the actor who plays Rick Dares was playing with them. So like all that stuff, I was just like, God, like it's so, I don't know why I got really emotional just in the beginning. Obviously, for those of you who haven't seen the trailer, the whole movie is predicated on Randall has the same heart attack that Kevin Smith had, and when he's in the hospital, he watched the movie of his life, like his life flashed before his eyes, and he's like, I've done nothing with my life, like I've left no sort of mark. And Dante says, he's like, I honestly thought you could have made a movie, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna do that. And he decides to make a movie about his life, which is essentially Clerks with a little bit of Clerks 2 thrown in there. And then you have Dante's story, which, again, I said I'm going to say spoilers, but I guess I'll try to stay away from it. So I guess in the description I'll say slight spoilers. But something happened to Dante, and we find out a little bit, like, really early in the movie, related to Rebecca from Clerks 2. And so Dante has this whole thing going on while Randall is making this movie about their past, is bringing up stuff from Dante's past. That was unexpected. Like, this movie, I thought it'd be really funny, and obviously I saw the trailer, I knew it was going to be, them making Clerks, essentially, and so, there's references to stuff like the original ending of Clerks, where Dante gets shot, which Kevin Smith deleted, which was so smart because that ending was really stupid. And so, like all that stuff, but I was not expecting it to be nearly as emotional as it was. Because, like, you're essentially watching Clerks from a different perspective. And that's what I love about this movie. I think that Kevin made this movie for, like, his fans. Like, for as much as Kevin makes movies, obviously, like, you make a movie, you want as many people to see it, and, because the more people see it, the more money it makes. But I feel like Clerks 3, this was a movie for his fans. Like, this is a movie for the fans who love all his stuff. There's references to all the past projects, and so you're watching these, particularly the first Clerks, but like I said, with a new lens, with a little bit more subtext to it. Veronica from the original comes back, and her and Dante have a really nice moment, and it's like, just seeing like all these people from Kevin's past. Like, he even has previous customers that were in Clerks that he brings back. And again, even though, like, I was born, that movie came out in 94, so I was born, like, 3 years after it. Like, because, like I said, I've been watching these movies since I was in high school. Like, those people, in a weird way, feel like they're a part of, like, my past viewings. Like, I know that scene between Randall and the woman in the video store where she's holding up the 2 tapes and Randall is not paying attention to her. So seeing that stuff, it's so weird. And even just, like, they have references to, like, the budget of Clerks, and there's a scene where they're trying to get Jay to do the dance, but Jay won't do it in front of anybody, and that's a true story from the original Clerks that Kevin Smith has told, that Jason Mewes like refused to do the dance in front of everyone. So like it's stuff like that. It's for his fans, but I think when you get to the ending and what, again, it's hard to say because I don't want to spoil the movie. The ending was unexpected in a really good way. And the way he brings back clips from the original movies and the context that they're in for Dante and Randall, it's really beautiful. And you know, this movie, oh my god, it makes me think of the past and even my own past, and you know, and all those things. It sort of drudges up stuff, and I think that the point of the movie is, you know, it's about that mark you leave on the world, no matter how big or small, and really that mark comes down to, you know, the friendships you made and the memories you've made in your own way. Like, and that's what I love about the message of the movie is, like, Randall never had to, you know, create the iPhone or Amazon or something like that. Like, the friendship he had with Dante, that was enough for a mark to leave, you know, and that's, you know, that goes back to like It's a Wonderful Life and, you know, no man's a failure who has friends. Like, that whole notion it's a beautiful notion for any movie to give any of us, because, you know, not all of us will be able to be huge movie stars or YouTubers or anything. So just being happy with the things we do have. It's a really great movie. It's funny. It's unexpectedly heartfelt. There are things that don't work about it. I think Elias's whole story doesn't work for me. And I liked Elias in Clerks too. I thought him and Randall had a lot of great banter, but I don't know. Obviously, you know, Kevin knows these characters more than any of us ever will, but I just felt like it felt a bit like he really wanted to go back to that Clerks team, you know, Dante, Randall, Veronica, Jay, Silent Bob, and Elias was just such a big character in Clerks 2 that he was like, well, it'd be weird if, like, he wasn't around, especially since he's working for the Quick Stop at the end of Clerks 2, so he had to bring him in, but I don't know. That was the one thing that didn't work about this movie, but this movie for me is one of those, the bad just gets completely blown out of the water by the good, and by the end of it. Stick around if you go and see the Fathom screening, because one, Kevin has a monologue during the credits that is just continued to break me in a wonderful way. And then at the end of my screen, they had like a featurette, which was super unexpected, and they didn't say any of that. So, you know, go Fathom. Fathom's awesome. I love Fathom. So, yeah, so I've been rambling here. But I love this movie. I love Kevin Smith. So that's why I wanted to get on camera and talk about this movie. You know, like the title will now say, it's slight spoilers, because I do think people should experience this for themselves, so I don't want to be the guy to ruin it for you if this video just randomly auto-played for you. But yeah, that ending. I think that ending was unexpected. It's not what I would have done. It's not what I would have wanted, and yet it's really great. And I think that's a great thing about filmmakers like Kevin Smith, when they just go out and they, you know, they do the unpopular stuff and they make the movies they want to make. And I think that's something I've always respected about Kevin. I think that's something I've always loved about Kevin, is like, his movies are for his fans. Like, if you're not a Kevin Smith fan, odds are you're not going to like all his movies. But he doesn't care. And that's really cool. And, you know, like I said, this dude's influenced me on my sort of dreams of being a filmmaker side, and he's now influenced me on dreams of wanting to, you know, podcasting, talk about movies and stuff. So, just really cool, really great. So what did you guys think about Clerks 3? If you saw it, let me know in the comments. If you didn't see Clerks 3, are you excited to see it? Are you not? Do you like Kevin Smith? What's your favorite Kevin Smith movie? Like I said, mine's Chasing Amy. Let's just keep talking about this stuff. So that's it for my ramblings on Clerks 3 and Kevin Smith. If you liked this video, please consider subscribing. You can check out more of my videos. This is, like I said, I don't really do these types of videos. So I have more like written scripts and perfectly edited videos that you can check out on this channel. The most recent one is a video about The Last Starfighter. So if you guys like that, if you like these types of videos and you want to see me do more of this on this channel, rambling reviews, let me know and I'll gladly do it. But if you like hearing me kind of just ramble about movies, go check out Take 3 Productions over on YouTube, where I host a few shows, and I do other things that's unscripted, and is more rambling and discussion about films with my friends. So, thank you guys for watching this, and, Snoochie Boochies.